It's like reality, only a little bit better. But after the novelty of chasing pocket-sized monsters wears off, will augmented reality really catch on? I'm Martin Stanford. This is Insight. Welcome to Insight. Pokemon Go, the game that was a worldwide hit last summer, was the first application of augmented reality technology to gather a mass audience. The simple combination of a game and the real world seen through a smartphone's camera was an instant hit. But augmented reality, or AR as it's known, is much more than just one app, as Insight's Chloe Culpan explains.
A simple worksheet that comes to life. A catalogue with a catwalk. A Happy Meal with a game. AR is slowly but surely spreading, and the possibilities are virtually endless. But the team at Zappa, one of the main platforms for hosting AR content, say it must be well thought out.
It has to be something that you couldn't get quicker or better elsewhere. So not just a link to YouTube or your latest TV ad on your press ad. It should be suited for the mobile usage occasion. And we always recommend that it's a piece of content plus a call to action. So the content should reward the user for the effort they've gone. So it could be an exclusive video, it could be a mini game, it could be an opportunity to take a photo with your favourite celebrity. It's something that you actually want to do. We have this kind of horrible mashing together of words, infotainment, so it informs you and entertains you.
But of course, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Companies are aiming to get something from you too.
I always recommend that there would be a call to action after that. So is it an m-commerce purchase? Is it a social share? Is it sign up to a mailing list? So we've got them engaged on mobile. Now where can we send them to really capture the value in that interaction?
Augmented reality experts say the technology can boost any aspect of any industry.
Start your engines. You can get
A leading fuel company in South Africa used AR to increase members of their loyalty scheme.
download the Zappa app and scan your till slip.
Clients come to us with such a myriad of different objectives. So it could be we are just all about engagement, we just want people interacting with the brand. It could be that they have a very specific one, like we want to gather email addresses.
Having all this extra content is all well and good, but how easy is it to find? At the moment, getting the AR content, or scan or zap, requires a bit of effort. We still need to download an app to access it. Like for these floor plans, if you want them, you need to download the Layer app, then scan the picture, and then we get the content. And for some, that's just a little bit too clunky. But of course, the technology is always developing.
I think this is going to become more natural, and I kind of believe the phone producers are going to get in the game in the next few years, so that you don't need to even maybe download an app, but just swipe between the modes, like you switch between camera, video, slow motion, and maybe augmented reality, so it will be easier, I think.
Using the very latest unique technology.
Some companies are already cutting out the middleman. This Dulux Visualizer app has a built-in AR reader, which allows people to test paint colours on their own walls.
You'll never need to play it safe again.
If you have the IKEA app, you can bring their catalogue to life and see what furniture would look like exactly where you want to put it. Once it's built, of course. And there are plenty of AR game apps. Night Terrors turns your own home into a horror film. Users plug in headphones and watch through their phone. It's so effective, there's even a disclaimer at the start. Nintendo had huge success with Pokemon Go, which saw millions of people wandering around trying to catch all the Pokemons in their immediate surroundings.
What if we could go beyond the screen?
Away from gaming, Microsoft has developed HoloLens in an attempt to make AR a way of life.
New ways to teach and learn.
Their device blends high-definition holograms with the real world. Fusic has also developed glasses which can be used to augment all sorts of reality, from in-car navigation on the roads to showing what's under a construction site. In medicine, students can learn a lot more about the body without needing one. It's no surprise there are reports Apple is getting in on the AR action. The tech giant apparently intends to make its own lightweight augmented reality glasses and has already started working with the German optics firm Carl Zeiss. Anyone can build an AR experience, from business cards to posters and far beyond. Designers can work from nearly anything. And with each AR feature costing around $1.50 to publish, not including the time taken to create the extra content, it's accessible. So while it's fair to say that at the moment AR is talked about more than it's used, its developers believe that the advancing technology will make it part of everyone's day-to-day reality. Chloe Culpen reporting for Insight.
Blippar started business deploying augmented reality to help advertisers. Now they're expanding into artificial intelligence to create what they call a visual knowledge graph, where things, buildings, even people can be recognised by a smartphone camera. I've been talking to Blippar CEO Ambarish Mitra in the TRT offices here in London. He told me about their move from AR to embrace AI.
Blippar is a new way of discovering the world, of understanding more about our environments and the objects within them.
We initially started this business in trying to make products interactive, where you could take a leading brand in the supermarket and make it interactive. And that was all great, and it still works very well. We figured out the most important word in augmented reality is not augmented, it's actually reality. Yeah. So for us to scale our business, we first need to understand the physical world. So we massively invested in the field of artificial intelligence and deep learning, and we categorized everything in the world. So we can look at anything and understand from a vocabulary of 30,000 words. Blippar's engine's vocabulary has 30,000 words. It can and can describe most things it looks at. And when it looks at it, not only describes it for you, but also gives you this concept called knowledge graph, which in our language we call Blippar sphere. It shows how whatever you're looking at is connected to everything else in the universe.
Well, let's see how it all works, shall we? Now, you've got the Blippar app on your phone.
And we, in this instant, let's say I'm looking at this keyboard, and it's just a generic keyboard. It tells us all about keyboard, the company Intel, what's a personal computer, what's x86, and of course it gives you the in-depth information below it. But for some reason, if the word Intel drives your curiosity, I said, what is that? Just in case. It takes you into the knowledge graph of Intel, and you can learn all about that company. And now, for some reason, I said, who's this character Gordon Moore, and how is it connected to Intel? You hard press on it, you get to know, oh, Intel was founded in Mountain View by Gordon Moore, and that's why Moore's law comes into existence. But that's interesting. Now, actually, I'm more interested about Gordon Moore. And now you are in his knowledge graph. So you're seeing how from bouncing from one entity to another. So we came from a random keyboard in this room to story of Intel to story of Gordon Moore. And just so you know, you can spend your lifetime and you will not come to the end of this sequence. You can just go on and on and on.
There is so much to know.
There are billions of facts in our knowledge graph. It goes into billions.
But you've done that using your own proprietary means of capturing information, or are you just tapping into stuff that's already available on the internet?
We're not writing anything. We're not reinventing the internet. We are just re-representing it. All the facts are public facts through publicly available information, through big news sources and Wikipedia, Wikidata, except how we are putting it together is a proprietary algorithm, and how we are ranking it is a proprietary algorithm.
And part of that process is that you can now recognize a face.
Yes, very recently we launched a version of the product like 4 weeks ago, where at this stage in our journey we can recognize most of public figures in the world. And I think the number is around 70,000 and growing.
at the moment, I go through my front door of my house with a key. But if this technology works, then I won't need the key at all, because the door will just know it's me and open anyway.
Knows who you are, yeah, and of course today other technologies like iris scan and fingerprint exist, but there are also elements of friction. You have to do something. You should just be able to walk onto your door.
Well, you're working a lot in America now, where of course I'm sure they're still talking about the Google Glass project. Now, you and I both wear spectacles, so were Google onto something, although they've dropped it now, that at some point we will be able to use our glasses or something like it as a display device?
It's inevitability of it is there. I mean, I can write my name on this, that it's coming back. Not through Google, I'm just saying we should be able to see that world well in our lifetimes when some sort of an optical interference, whether it's going to be glasses.
A contact lens?
Yeah, anything of that nature is certainly coming, and we will relay information right in front of eyes in a most frictionless. I think the right amount of processing and bandwidth, and they're actually more hardware factors. I feel software has taken the leap already in that direction. Hardware has some catching up to do.
So this knowledge graph infrastructure, that's a real focus for your company now?
It's a massive concentration. So we have really pivoted our business, and I think the inspiration came from our users themselves, because they are pointing their phones at everything. And you would know that today the phone's camera is the most used part of the phone. I think making a phone call is the 8th most used part of the phone. So they are anyway pointing their phone's cameras at everything. And it really gave us the inspiration that in this evolution, technology and internet has been very evolutionary. In this next evolution, the world at arm's length remains undiscovered. Majority of people cannot describe half the things they look at with their own eyes.
But with a bit of help we could.
With help we could, but it can also transcend boundaries of literacy, just so you know. Because there are a lot of people today who cannot use words or languages to type things, but everybody is by nature, it's biological, we are curious, that's how humans have evolved. But it can transcend literacy by, if you can look at something, it can talk back to you in your local language. It shouldn't be restricted just with words.
Could this take away the need to understand another language?
Massively, because the machines are understanding everything what you are looking at, and language is just another coding layer on top of it. And in terms of translation and language, that part of the internet has already done well and outperformed. We are trying to solve a very big problem, which is giving cameras almost human level cognition.
This is Insight. Coming up, how will AR affect the reality of your world?